Welcome back, everyone, to the CB show. I'm Chris.
I'm Brandon.
Brandon, here we are.
Another week.
Yeah, I mean, last week we had. I got so many texts. I got just everybody.
Everybody reaching out.
Yeah, saying how great the show was.
Yeah,
we had a lot of fun last week with Albert, and it's gonna be tough to follow that up, but we will.
It is. One thing, I actually had drivers stop in my office today and tell me how he appreciates the introduction to people that he's talked to many times on the phone, but
Right.
could never put a face to the name to the voice. So he really appreciated that. He said, please keep it up. So that's a lot of feedback we keep getting.
Absolutely.
A lot of drivers are really appreciating what we're doing here. So
Yeah, the other thing, we just hit a milestone today.
2 milestones. I'm going to say you give yours, and then I'll talk.
Okay,
about
well, on mine, I saw 125 subscribers.
Saw that.
That's
we,
big.
We just expanded to 4 people in the staff.
Oh, that's right.
That's a big milestone.
Yeah.
Hey, it's
So our staff now consists of 4 here at CB show.
so it's Chris, Brandon, BK, Ben Klein, and Grant.
Grant.
Granted is now a part of production assistant. We're going to call him. We'll get him a name tag or something so
Yeah,
he
right.
can get back door.
But yeah, so for anybody that knows, Grant obviously is in the safety team.
Grant's our log auditor and safety
Yeah.
team. Huge, very big part of our safety team. Very helpful, beneficial to everybody every day. So
Very tech savvy.
very tech savvy. I mean,
So
everything
Ben's
goes-
got his, Ben's.
I was gonna stay on his toes. He's gonna stay on his toes if he wants to stay part of the production team. So.
Right, so, today, weird weather out here today, it was.
2 storms have already gone through.
And now the sun's
Now
out,
the sun's
so,
back out.
it's that time of year,
It is.
right, so, I guess, let's get right into our favorite segment.
Absolutely. Let's do that.
Here we go.
The Weekly Update.
So Brandon, what do you got for us this week?
Well, this week I had a good week. It wasn't flawless. We did have 1 DOT reportable.
Okay.
However, we had another week of no lost injury time, which is great. And actually, with the month ending, we just ended May not too long ago, and so the month of May we actually traveled. I wrote it down here: 2.5 million miles.
All right.
And in the month of that, we only had 1 DOT reportable. So,
Wow.
again, as crash rating out there, I believe as I wrote up, it was 0.39%.
Oh, that's pretty low.
So that's really low. It's really great. Again,
right.
all you guys and girls out there just continue to knock it out of the park. And again, I can't say how great that is and how it is easy. It makes my job easy.
What, you said about the one accident, what kind of accident, what was it?
It was actually, it was a side swipe.
Okay.
We went to change lanes. There's a car that stopped in front of us, slowed down in front of us, went to change lanes, and unfortunately the car to our right was in our blind spot.
Okay.
We ended up catching it with the ICC bumper.
No injuries.
No injuries. It wasn't really that major.
Okay.
So, but again, he did have to be towed. So, towed or injury would be due.
Well, everybody wants to talk about the accidents, but I think it's important that we shed light on it, right? Point
See
out
how
what
it
happened.
Yep.
It's a side swipe, change lanes, it could be avoided, right?
Sure.
But nobody ever says this job isn't challenging, right?
Correct.
So,
Takes a special skill set.
Yeah, right.
And the stress level and everything is thrown at all of you out there. And so, again, we handle it very, very well. You're talking 2.5 million miles
Yeah.
last month and only 1 DOT reportable.
Absolutely.
Again, not to overlook the small mishaps we have, but the major ones is really what we want to try to avoid. And we've been doing very successful so far this year. And we're almost halfway through.
I guess it goes back to the old saying, and we keep reiterating, get home to your family safely. And it's just not us, general public getting home to their family safely, right? So we got, such a challenging job day in, day out, what our team does, the safety team, drivers, mechanics,
Everybody as a whole,
dispatchers, it's just,
keep the wheels turning.
yep. So, congratulations to all. We'll keep,
Definitely.
turning those wheels and doing a good job out there. I wanted to shed some light, as we're still in this weekly update.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully everybody gets the
newsletters.
newsletters, and what's really cool this week, we made the
We
newsletter.
did make it.
Right,
I read over that. We
got a
did
little
make the newsletter.
segment in there, but it's really some great information here. It really shed some light on. We talk about our sponsor, the Patent Logistics Group, and it really gives an idea. Like there's the articles in there about Dublin, Virginia, and New Jersey, and everything. It showed you guys down there doing it.
Yeah, doing our job for
Yeah,
you.
job fair.
One thing I did notice in there, and I didn't know until I actually read the newsletter. So again, you figure it's an informative thing
Right.
because I'm here every day. I hear everything. But we now have a husband and wife working.
Yeah.
You know, the wife works at Patent Logistics, or, you know, Patent Warehousing, and then we have the husband as a driver, which is really neat. So anybody that gets that and hasn't seen that, check that out. It's definitely very informative and is very well done. Very well
Absolutely.
done.
So, and I actually was in there twice.
You were.
22
You were
years
there.
of service here, so getting gray here, I guess. You know? So anyway, you know, I guess we'll wrap up the weekly update. What are we on to next?
We are on to what are we gonna do? The who's who. Who's who.
Yeah.
I sat down with Scott this week. You know, Scott definitely he has a lot of insight on a lot of different things. I mean, it's pretty interesting. So.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing is, before we get into it, Scott started out in Erie, PA for a special project at Corey. I actually think Steve Patton was the one that interviewed him, and myself interviewed him to come to our company, and now has, you know, relocated to North
down
Carolina.
south, yeah.
So, you know, it's great history there with Scott. So I'm anxious to see this interview.
Yeah, check this out. It's pretty good.
Good afternoon, everybody. Here I am with Scott. I grabbed Scott before he took off with a load for us today. You know, welcome to the show. Glad to have you. A few questions, you know, just kind of want to introduce ourselves. I guess the people out there to Scott. Anybody that doesn't know Scott, he's been with us for how many years now?
10 plus.
10 plus years. He's been driving for us. And how many have you been driving altogether?
Ooh, coming in August, I'll be working into my over 40 years.
40 years of driving.
Yes,
I didn't
sir.
even think you looked that old.
Sorry.
So, something obviously you enjoy about driving truck. I mean, obviously nobody sticks with something for 40 years if they don't enjoy it. What are your, I guess, perks and what keeps you driving? What keeps you behind the wheel?
I don't know if it's perks, but I enjoy the aspect of being in control of what I do and how I do it. It's all about me and how I conduct myself and work with the company. So I'm in total control. It's not like going in and punching a time card and working on a machine all day long.
I think it's interesting how you say about control. And you're right, I 100% agree. But, I mean, after, over the years, I guess I would say, with electronic logs and everything coming on, one of the biggest complaints and the pushback that we always hear, people are, well, you guys are trying to control us. It's almost like they think that we're trying to take over control, where the government is, not even necessarily us. But by you saying that you like how you can control it.
Yeah.
And obviously, you've been around for long enough and you see the changes from the paper logs to the e-logs. What's your feeling on that? How do you feel the difference and really how that makes your job different?
You're going to be a little surprised because after I was introduced to E-Log and I started using E-Log, it's like, oh, why didn't somebody give me this years ago? I would have switched 10 years ago to E-Log. It made my job so much easier.
Reduces the stress.
Oh my God, yes. Instead of trying to figure out and cheat around everything has to be to the letter, to the law.
And it helps you plan because
Sure.
because now today you can plan your day. You know when you're out of hours.
Yes, sir.
But before we started recording here, you mentioned something about back in the '90s that you know was said to you. So why don't you share that story with us quick?
Well, back in the 90s, there was a time in my driving career I was a Teamster, and we were still in the state of Pennsylvania had a paper driver's license, and that was when things shifted to a CDL, a laminated real CDL. It was back then in the early 90s when I got this. The Teamsters took us as a group to help us get our CDL and to do away with that paper driver's license. And they were telling us back then in the late 80s, early 90s that eventually there's going to be a black box in the truck where the government was going to be able to see what we're doing at all times, know when the truck is running, when the truck stopped or shut down. Basically going to be Big Brother. Well, surprise, here is the e-logs. And I'll tell you what, back then it was a scary deal. We didn't know what this black box is going to do. But now that it's here and I'm using it, oh my God, I wish I had it back then. I wish they'd introduced it back then. It's made my life so much easier.
So I know that you and I've been here for 14 years, so we've had multiple conversations and multiple things. One thing that you keep bringing up to my attention is the garbage left behind in trailers. You know, whether it's the clips or the straps or just pile of dirt. Do you have anything that you want to shoot out there just to your fellow drivers here, our Watsontown family, to just explain to them how that impacts you? I mean, I know you run a lot up and down the East Coast, so you get the leftover of MI trailers.
Yes.
And so I mean, I know other people do it out there. Scott's very transparent, I would say, with us. You're a very good worker for us and very informative and keep us abreast of your frustrations and what you keep coming across. So just a little bit on how that hits you and what that does to your day to day.
It takes up a little bit of time, but I have a little bit of respect for my customers that in my general area where I run. So I like to pick up garbage. I pick up the rubber mats, pick up the E-clips if they leave them in the trailers. Drivers seem to want to leave a string of E-clips in the back of the trailers. For what reason, I'm not sure. Everybody's got a passenger floor. They can throw a string of E-clips until they get to a place that they can give them up at Roanoke or Milton or MI. But it just seems like we'll just leave them in the back of the trailer. It'll make it back eventually. But I try to take care of my customers that I go to all the time and clean up after other drivers to give respect to the customers, because there are our customers and they look at us to give them a good product, to give them a good service. So whenever there's something left behind or the trailer's not swept out, I always try to give them a good, clean platform, and I'll jump in the back and clean up if I have to, just to make the customer satisfied.
And we obviously appreciate that. We appreciate how you go above and beyond. Correct. So let's go a little bit in Scott's personal life, outside of trucking. Obviously, you love trucking, but what else do you love to do in your personal life?
My wife and I are active in shooting sports. We are both IDPA members. We are both safety officers at a local range. We both compete with handguns in the state of North Carolina. We're not good at it, but it's something really enjoyable that we do. My wife also likes to skydive. She is on a hiatus right now. She just had knee surgery, but that's one thing she likes to do. And we're avid motorcycle riders. I just got my Goldwing triked out, just $18,000 conversion. Now I have a trike. Getting older, getting a little wobbly, so added a third wheel.
Added more stability there.
Yep.
Now that you're not a skydiver?
Not yet. That's something that I'd like to attempt. Actually, I'd rather be the pilot. I would rather be the one that flies the airplane.
Yeah.
Jumping out's okay. My wife enjoys it a lot, but I would rather be the one that's the pilot that takes him up.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of heights. So not that I was invited, but I won't be joining you on that. I would fly with you. Maybe I'll go out, but I'm not jumping out.
I have a passenger seat. You can ride along.
Well, overall, unless there's anybody else you want to have a shout out to, we appreciate you stopping in or giving us the time that you have to sit down. And it's definitely it's different because there's no prepping on these. We just sit you down and say, hey, here we are. We need your answers. However, so anything such as that. But no, we appreciate your time and appreciate everything you've done for the company.
Well, thank you very much, Brandon. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Be safe, Scott.
Have a great afternoon.
Wow, great interview with Scott.
He was great. He was comfortable. He had a lot of information.
Yep.
I think all together that interview was almost 20 minutes long.
Wow.
And he was intrigued. Like I just wanted to get more out of him. And obviously we would like to keep these segments limited time, so we had to cut quite a bit out. But I think we hit on a lot of key points there. And it's crazy. Between shooting gun, riding motorcycles. Being a pilot, his wife went in a parachute. Wow. It's crazy. It was very, very, very
That's
funny.
the best part about Who's Who. You said about that driver coming in your office today and saying, likes to learn about people. And I think it's with Who's Who. That you having that little sit down and learning about people. And we're going to continue on with that. We got some other big things coming too.
We do. We have some
new segments that are
working on some new segments here that we're both pretty excited
about.
Right. So
well, I guess Well, I guess Did anybody notice anything? I wonder if they noticed anything.
You know, it's funny, yesterday.
Yes.
Tom stopped into my office when you were in there talking to
Right.
me, and, he was, you know, telling us what was all changed about the set, so, I mean, so far, we only have one person
Yeah,
that
right.
spoke up about the changes on site, so, you know, we're putting a mission out there to you guys, all you followers, I mean, hey, we got 125 subscribers right now, there's gotta be other people that can see things changing on set, tell us
Right.
about it.
Right.
See what you change, see what changes you see what you like, tell us what you like, give us the thumbs up.
Well, it leads
and the
into our sponsors.
It does.
Right, you know, it's really.
because they
without
can't
them-
do anything
Right.
without them.
You know, it just goes back to the newsletter. It just shows how big it spans our company is, and you know, all the buildings and the people, and the, you know, obviously our drivers, mechanics, and you know, with all working together as one under that
But,
umbrella.
you know, I mean, and then maybe one thing we keep forgetting to mention, yes, there are, you know, obviously the company's expanding, but the support that we actually have. You know, I mean, yes, we're sponsored here, this and that, but the fact that this doesn't just happen in 3 minutes a day.
Right.
You know, I mean, we take some time, we plan some things out, we do these interviews, so the fact that, you know, we have the support from Steve to get these messages out,
Right,
that's
absolutely.
huge. So, you know, definitely special thanks to him, and, you know, the great positive feedback that we get directly is one thing, but, you know, the messages on there, the comments are something that he does look at, and he sees that we have the
Absolutely.
support, so,
Yeah.
you know, it's so for us to keep going,
Yeah.
it's great to have those things.
Yep. So I guess until next week, you know, any plans this weekend for you?
Well, actually, we, as a baseball team, my Little League team, 9 through 12, I'll give a shout out to them, we, were league champions this year.
Yeah, right. You're
We just won.
Coach.
Yeah, I was coach, yeah, and then, so as a team, we're going up to, Williamsport Cross Country's
Oh,
minor
nice.
league team tonight to watch a game.
well. Hopefully the weather holds up.
I'm hoping the storms pass, then
Yeah.
maybe just tinker around the house here this weekend, see what we can get done. How about you?
Well, baseball.
More baseball.
Yeah, baseball. A lot of games tomorrow. My son Chase, you know, he's got 3 games tomorrow, I think, and so be a long day of baseball, but can't beat it. You know what I
No,
mean? So
Definitely.
it's
It's
that time
great
of
to
year,
see you
and
smiling and.
yeah, absolutely.
And again, it goes back to the whole family thing.
Getting home to our family safely.
You know, so you can enjoy those special times.
Yep.
But now, we did briefly touch on there is a new segment that we're trying to filter in and work on. So we're both pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
So hopefully, our new production team duo can get that up and running for us next week.
No pressure, boys. No pressure.
So-
So until next week. You know,
Thumbs up,
thumbs
comments, and have a safe weekend.
Take care.